Good afternoon, Redwall Survivor. Foxpen here, bringing you another installment of Mossflower Odyssey 4, The Beast in the Crater Top 30 Character Application Readings and Reviews. This time we're going to do the Thief category. And we have a nice 3-character spread. They're all females, I'd like to point out. They're all females under 30. So, young ladies, young ladies, all thieving young ladies. Very bad, very bad. Tut, tut. Anyway, so we have a Vole, a Weasel, and a Fox. So, the Vole in the Thief category, a typical good beast in a Thief category, but, Mossflower Odyssey isn't exactly typical Redwall all the time. So, Adeen Pinebarrow is a 22-year-old lady Vole, and I'm gonna get started. Here we go. Enjoy.
This is too much, said Fenton.
Scared of old hares? Said Adeen. 2 voles perched on the 3rd-floor balcony of a mansion. They peered through the shutters at a pair of hares winding through their evening rituals. The husband pressed and hung his military uniform and recited oaths of service. The wife combed through her fur with a pearl-plated brush as she reread the letters from her grandchildren. After the Marks kissed goodnight and blew out their candles, the voles whispered once more.
It's not the hares I worry about.
I'm touched.
Yes, you are. We've paid back ducrans with interest, and the guards will notice our skimming in time.
And?
We can just scribe again.
Scribing didn't save them. Adeen clutched the folds of her sooty robe. And these bloated scut buckets need to feel what it's like. You agree, don't you? Adeen led into the mansion when Fenton did not respond. Silently, they wove through the shutters, skirted the darkened bedchamber, and took their places. Adeen drew her dagger. Fenton readied his satchel, and together they counted from 3. At 0 they plunged. Fenton fished letters from the bedside drawer and stuffed them into his satchel. Adeen dragged her blade across the finery of the hare's uniform, 1 slice for the silver adorning the mansion's furniture, again for all the silk and lattice, the powder and warmth, the beatings from debt collectors, the sneers of greater beasts, the dreams of their beautiful, lost faces, the freedom. Soon the uniform hung in ribbons. Adeen trembled with delight and let a rattled sigh escape her throat, which died beneath thunderous snores. The vole snuck out the window and into the night.
Mud mice! Did the Duke run out of real guards, or has Colonel lost its flippin' value?
2 voles stood on the front porch of a mansion, speaking with an old hare leaning on a cane. They wore the robes of messenger scribes, embroidered with the emblem of the town guard.
We're only starting the investigation, Colonel Colporter, said Fenton. The armed branch will patrol your grounds tonight.
First your deposit, said Adeen. Fenton and the colonel stared at Adeen as though she'd appeared from nothing. Fenton woke first, patted his wife on the shoulder, and forced her into a unified bow.
Yes, the deposit, said Fenton. Your reports indicate a warning break-in, so we'll safeguard your valuables at headquarters until the criminals are found. Standard practice, Colonel. Bloody bureaucrats.
The hare rapped the doorframe with his cane, but stepped aside. Be quick, and stay clear of my bedroom. The voles tore through the mansion with Colonel Colporter identifying what could and could not leave. Soon a pushcart outside staggered with ancient vases, bejeweled diningware, and trunks of coin and crystal. Adeen stopped as they left the mansion grounds. The doe's pearl brush. Adeen dug through the cart. It's not here. She doesn't deserve it.
And do we? Why do we need any of this when we have each other?
Having each other didn't save them. Adeen trembled. And if I must lose my treasures, then so should they. Adeen stormed back into the mansion and vaulted up to the 3rd-floor landing. In daylight, the bedchamber ran foul with pink lace, and the sobs of a hare-marm sprawled across her quilts, clutching what few letters Fenton left. Adeen spat at the hare and swiped the hairbrush from her nightstand. Colonel Colporter blocked the bedroom doorway when Adeen turned around. The sheath of his sword cane slid off with 1 swipe, and the elder hare stood proud with his blade bared. Safeguard my valuables indeed, said Colporter. A length of steel or a jailer's whip will teach you your place. Decide. I escaped my place. Adeen's words hung deadly and sure. Let me show you yours. Adeen drew her dagger, counted from 3, and plunged. She dragged her blade across the finery of the hare's doublet, one slice for the colonel's hail of insults when his limbs and weapon failed, again for the paws of mercy and reason gripping at her shoulders, the frozen nights of hunger, the alleyway beds, her pups curled cold and still in their hampers, the freedom. Soon 3 bodies ribboned with cuts sprawled along the floor. Adeen trembled with delight as a rattled sigh primed in her throat. The sigh died when she realized Fenton lay still between 2 elder hares. Adeen stared, immobile, until the real guards arrived. Adeen Pinebarrow. Well, that is another really potent app. Potent enough to remind me of Silas when his app, when I finished reading that one, I was really impressed with it. Adeen, I'm really impressed with this one too. There's so much juicy story here. You know exactly what she's doing, you know exactly why she's doing it, and it's all told in such a manner that it's just so well constructed. You really get a sense of who Adeen is in this application. She delights in the carnage, even if the carnage is just wrecking some old hare's uniform. She sighs in ecstasy when she finishes, and when she finishes killing everyone too, and of course until she realizes she's killed her husband. The real kicker, because now Adeen has literally nothing left to live for. Makes you wonder what she's going to do in the crater. There's a lot of things she could do. She could try and make up for her past deeds. She could try and help others. She could become a crazy, bloodthirsty gladiator Vole. Another thing I like is that she kills 3 people. One who is her husband, who presumably is her age and a strong male Vole, so she somehow managed to overpower and murder him just as she murdered the old hares. One of who is an army veteran, an old guy on a cane, but he had a sword and he had experience still. So, you know, she might actually be physically a contender in the crater, and I think that's just jolly to see a Vole doing that. Gosh, there was a typo somewhere. I forget what it was, where it was. The word spell was same. It was supposed to be save. I think, yeah, something like that. Anyway, whatever. I knew exactly what you meant, so it didn't disturb how I read everything. Just, keep an eye on those little deets. Gosh, I love this. Like, the imagery, it's a really well-constructed app, and there's enough descriptive language that you're not being just fed exposition or anything, right? It's all constructed in a very nice story here. We have a beginning, a middle, and we have an end. It's really well done how words are wielded here. I know I'm gushing a little bit, but I like this application. And if I must lose my treasures, then so should they. What a self-righteous woman. But that's great. She's self-righteous, and I know that she craves revenge, and she would have fit into the beast who fights for revenge category very well. But she doesn't want really to hurt people physically. She just loses control. She wants to hurt them in their pocketbooks where it hurts, in their pride and their dignity, like what happened to her. So very clear motivations. This character, I'd be keen to see this character in the competition in the crater. So well done, Adeen. I'm going to leave it at that. Congratulations, getting into the top 30. We're going to move on now to Faye. Now, Faye is a 25-year-old female weasel, vying for the thief category. I'm just going to jump right into it, so here we go. Faye leaned against the tree, paw outstretched and rolling a gold coin between her knuckles as she stared at the other side of the forest path. Though her eyes were hidden under the brim of a massive feathered hat, they were focused on the beast approaching. It was a ferret, ambling down the path in her direction. He was carrying a pack of what Faye assumed to be supplies, maybe a meager amount of food. It was unimportant. What was important, however, was what she assumed was in the ferret's purse. Faye smiled. "Ahoy, friendo!" she shouted, stepping forward and tipping her hat to the stranger. The ferret jumped, giving a little squeak of fear. Faye watched as his fear first turned to embarrassment, then quickly into a mix of sheepish anger. "What are you trying to do? Give me a heart attack?" the ferret growled. "What are you standing around here for, anyway?" "Oh, I'm waiting on a chance, good beast," Faye exclaimed. "A chance?" The ferret's anger gave way to curiosity. "For what?" "To talk to my good friend, what's your name?" "Grimclaw." "My good friend Grimclaw." "I'm not your friend, and I'm not gonna be. Let's get that straight here and now." "Oh." Faye violently clutched at her chest, almost losing her hat during the theatrics. "Oh, that hurt me, Grim. Right in here, right where it hurts the most." "Tell me what you want, or else I'll hurt you somewhere else," Grimclaw snarled. Unfazed, Faye grinned. "Grim, I tell you, I want a good time, just like any other beast would. But there's only one way I can do that, and that's with a little wager." Grimclaw's eyes narrowed. "What kind of wager?" "I bet you this coin," Faye cried, brandishing the coin between two claws, "that I can flip it through the air and into my gaping jaws." She threw out her arms and thrust her head back, waiting to hear Grimclaw's enthusiasm. It never came. "What makes you think that coin interests me?" Grimclaw asked. Faye, now frowning, straightened herself and readjusted her hat. "Well, it's my last one." Now came Grimclaw's enthusiasm. "That is interesting." "Fantastic!" Faye cried, and flicked the coin high towards the sky. With a swish of her paw, the weasel whipped off her feathered hat and opened her mouth wide. The coin finished its arc, and on its descent, Faye snapped it out of the air. She smirked, spun towards Grimclaw, and opened her mouth, the gold lying on her tongue. She returned her hat to her head and spit the piece into her paw, brandishing it once more. "I believe you owe me a coin." Grimclaw, even less amused than before, reached into his heavy purse and tossed Faye a gold piece. "A lot of show for just being one coin richer." "But Grim, I've just doubled my wealth." "In one go, no less," Faye gasped. "I see you are nearly as impressed as I am. How's about we have one more wager? If I can catch both these coins in my mouth, you give me 10 more. Grimclaw snarled. "No, I'm not losing any more of my money or my time fooling with you. Besides, you don't have anything I'd want." "That's where you're wrong," Faye laughed and tapped her hat. "I've got my hat. And before you ask, why would I want that? Let me reiterate. It's my hat. Therefore, if I lose this bet, it will cease being mine, and will instead," Faye poked Grimclaw's chest, "be yours. And that will bother me deeply. Forever." "I do like the thought of that," Grimclaw snorted. "Your scorn wounds me, Grim." Not skipping a beat, Faye flipped the coins into the air, one after another. They arced as expected, but on their way down, the tiny pieces of metal collided. One spun off into the dirt, while the other made an unfortunate journey straight into Faye's snout. "Ow!" she cried out, clutching at her stinging nose and bumping into Grimclaw before falling to the ground. Grimclaw burst into laughter. "You're an entertainer, I'll give you that. Now this," the ferret sneered, snatching the hat off the reeling Faye, "belongs to me. I hope you don't miss it too much." The ferret continued down the road, laughing as he did. Once he was out of sight, Faye smirked and jangled Grimclaw's gold purse in her paw. "Oh, I won't. It wasn't mine anyhow." So there you have Faye. This is a really well-written application. Didn't detect any spag. There's no formatting errors. Consistent tense and perspective. It's well-written, fun scene. Faye is manipulative. We learn that about her. She entices Grimclaw by tapping into his typical vermin greed. Like pretending, if I lose my hat, it's going to bother me forever. And that's like, aha. That to him is worth his time by making someone else feel nasty. So she's possibly a really good judge of character by knowing nothing about other people. We assume, based on this application, that she hasn't been following this ferret. She just saw him on the road and was like, okay, yeah, this is my mark. Anyway, she's just really dramatic. She almost topples over, loses her hat when she's pretending to, once again, be wounded by Grimclaw. That hurts me, Grim. Right in here, man. Right in the heart, man. Where emotions come from, man. It's not cool, man. Of course, Grimclaw, this dramatic kind of behavior she shows lures Grimclaw into, like, thinking, oh, she's just, like, some silly beast. I'm not going to suffer fools, so I'm not even going to really give her the time of day to really pay attention to what's going on. So she definitely, she pretends to be a fool, a showman, but, yeah, she's pretty clever, and she's got, it harkens back to that manipulative, personality. She definitely wants a good time, even if that good time is swindling others out of their coins. And I had a good time reading this application. There's not a lot of there's not a heck of a lot of description, except with the coin toss, which, well, that makes sense because the coin toss is kind of the action that bonds Grimclaw and Faye for the scene here. But really, like, it's pretty simple. Just screen cap a day in Faye's life. Here's, like, 2 minutes of her existence. It's not a captivating app. It's really, really well written, and I enjoyed reading it, and it was fun. But Faye just seems a little too cartoony to really stand out. Like, she didn't really do anything that impressed me too much, you know? Not like Adeen, who lost it, went cray-cray, and just massacred an entire household. Faye is just, like, you know, catching coins on her tongue.
Ew, by the way. Ew, you don't know where those coins have been. Ew, spit it out.
But yeah, like I said, it's a really well-written app. It just, you know, Faye, if you get into the competition, you're going to really have to do something to impress, because Faye could easily get swamped out by the more, what's the word I'm looking for? By the grander characters. Not that there's anything wrong with a simple, straightforward character. It's just you'll have to work a little harder to impress. Okay, so that's Faye. We're going now to Lacey Silvertail McTally. Lacey Silvertail McTally is a 28-year-old vixen. She's a silver fox. Another silver fox. Her nickname is Silvertail, so, you know, I've already said this a few times, like, I don't think it's necessary, but if her nickname is Silvertail, I imagine in this case that whole species of silver fox, maybe it comes in, maybe it's a little more important, like it was perhaps with Altra, the whole silver coat thing, it was important to the character. So, okay, whatever, yeah, so, 28-year-old vixen, thief, Lacey Silvertail McTally. Lacey smiled as she put distance between herself and the village. "Please, stay another night," she remembered one village elder telling her. "If I stay another night of feasting, I'll need to have my armor refitted," Lacey had chuckled. "I do appreciate all the kindness you've shown me, but there are other villages that need my help." "Kindness? Because of you, we can work our fields again. That eagle would have picked us off one by one until we were all dead. We owe you so much more than that." "I certainly hope not," one of the other village elders had scoffed. "Half the village had come together to pay this eagle slayer." "Quiet. When was the last time you saw a vermin beast save a woodlander life? To save your life?" The squirrel said harshly before turning to Lacey again. "You, vixen, are a hero and a credit to your species." "Credit to my species." Lacey repeated the words. Once the village was out of sight, Lacey glanced over her shoulder. Her ears twitched as she waited to see if there was anything following her. Content she is alone, Lacey turned back to the road, coming eye to eye with the eagle's head hanging upside down from a branch above. "Hello, little fox," the bird hissed. Letting out a loud yelp, Lacey stumbled backward, tripping over her own tail and landing on her rump. You're supposed to be dead! I killed you!" The fear, however, quickly turned to anger. "Bird-brained idiot! What do you think will happen if someone sees you, alive, this close to the village?" The eagle clicks his beak in laughter. "Fox should see face. Most amusing. No one sees sharp eyes. They look for sharp eyes in sky. Not expect him to use worm beast words. No. You still shouldn't take the risk, you great big fat turkey. One beast sees us together and boom! We got images out the window, along with your meal ticket, you hear?" Standing now, Lacey began to strip off her armor and weapons. Most look metallic, but were dropped with a wooden clatter. A quiet sigh of relief escaped Lacey's muzzle as the chest plate is loosened enough to let her gut hang out. "Oh, maybe I should refit this old prop." I was holding my breath all day. Afterwards, Lacey rummaged through the burlap sack filled with money, clothes, food, and there you are, my precious. Lacey opened a bottle of wine by biting down into the cork and spitting it out. The bird only rolled his eyes. Perhaps Sharp Eyes makes meal ticket down to Fox one day, yeah? For leaving him in the woods to go party with woodlanders. Lacey snickered as she drank. Oh, be good. I brought you back a casserole. The bird only tilts his head onto one side. Casserole, you know, it's a pie thingy filled with noodles and cheese. And just eat it, okay? Gathering up her gear, the vixen added, You know, they called me a credit to my species. Their words, not mine. Sharp Eyes continued to look unimpressed. He only turned for the road. Come. Sharp Eyes does not like staying too long on Worm Beast Road, and the next village is far. It wouldn't be if you would give me a ride. Catching the look from the eagle, she gulped. Or we can walk. Walking is fine. Quietly, she mumbled to herself, A credit to my species. She shook her head and laughed. At the snap of a twig, Lacey stopped in her tracks. Slowly, she turned to find a squirrel behind them on the road. The village elder appeared to be clutching a green garment in both paws. You forgot your cloak, he said weakly. Wide-eyed, Lacey could only stare. So I did. Rubbing her neck, she laughed. I don't suppose I can explain this, can I? Her nervous laughter died down. There is no need. I heard everything. The beast swallowed. I don't suppose there's any way you can let me go now, is there? Lacey drew a deep breath for a long moment and said nothing. I really wish there was. Turning her face to the ground, she said, Make it quick. The older squirrel shook in place but did not run. Tears in his eyes, he replied, Miss Lacey, you really are a credit to your species. Then the eagle was upon him. So there's Lacey's Silvertail McTally. Anytime this crops up, I'm gonna point it out. Just in the competition, you're gonna have to switch from present tense to past tense. Otherwise it makes the story jarring, and that's just not good to read. Anyway, this is a really well laid out scene. Even though it moves places in a relatively short amount of time, the transition is smooth and it works. I like the details of her, like her wooden armor props. It really adds to her, like, her complete con artist persona. So, like, what about her actually is real? Like, not her armor, well, certainly not her willingness and eagerness to help beasts out of the goodness of her heart, not her valor or bravery. Her modesty, is that, It also kind of makes me wonder what her relationship with Sharp Eyes is actually like. Like, they seem to get along together pretty well enough with their scam, but once Lacey's gone and needs help in the crater, is Sharp Eyes going to come through for her? He won't give her a lift, which is apparently a really rude request for Lacey to make. But so I wonder just how close they actually are, if they're friends versus business partners kind of deal. Because if Lacey could actually have like an eagle on the outside of the crater, that would be exponentially helpful. Like, Nire has falcons, or a falcon, I believe, where it participates in bird battles, or it chases down runaways and everything. But, an eagle could definitely help. Not just with the falcon, but, you bring them supplies, bring them stuff, get them out of there. You could use an eagle. You really could. Anyway, I like the ending of this application. I sensed it coming the whole time. Right off the bat, this chick is a con artist, but I was really hoping it wouldn't end like this. Even though it was expected, it still didn't kind of ease the hurt of her betrayal. Yeah, especially considering it was the squirrel who stood up for her and called her a credit to her species, On that note, I listened to Aaron's audio reviews, and he raises a good point with the death of the squirrel. The squirrel gives Lacey her cloak back, but then he's found dead? Or, how would that work? Like, he's going to go missing and people are going to come look for him and either find him dead and mangled there, and Lacey's probably still going to take her cloak, so they're going to know, okay, well, he got the cloak back to her, presumably. Or will they assume, like, oh, it was bandits and they stole the cloak, or, it's just kind of weird. Maybe the eagle eats him, and his body simply disappears. You can't have a crime if there's no body. Maybe the beasts of his hometown just assume something happened to him once he can't be found. They'll have to be, I don't know, it'll have to be cleared up for consistency's sake. So Lacey, Aaron's called you on it. I'm calling you on it. Just figure that, the death of the squirrel. What are the true consequences of that final oomph to the application? Still, it's a really good parting shot on the squirrel's part to end the application. You really are a credit to your species. After, he was praising her before, now he's just like, yes, stupid wily fox, you murdering jerkwad. Anyway, I really like this application. So I'm just going to end the thief category on that note. Congratulations to Lacey. Congratulations, everybody in the thief category. Faye and Adeen and Lacey, congratulations on getting into the top 30. Good luck. I'm probably gonna finish up with the Traveler and the Beast with a Secret tonight. Get that going so that people have a day and then another day to figure out who they're voting. Don't forget to vote. So have a great evening, everyone. I'll see you next time. Foxpen out.